Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with Game 4 of this best-of-5 series between EG and the Sneaky Nicks Assassins, the grand finals of Starladder Season 10 America. Winner of this series goes to Kiev, and it's all on the line. Sneaky Nicks Assassins one step closer to a reverse all-kill, but EG, they may want to be a little more conventional here and secure the win while they still have a little bit of wiggle room. Gods, What's the good word, man?
I don't think EG want to go to a game 5, but we'll see. Definitely, that would make them, as well as some of their camp, very nervous against a team who is capable of upsets. A lot of talent. Ush, one of my favorite players in the American scene, who's kind of an upcoming player. TC, solid carry player, and Fluff, and kind of not the drafting seat, but as kind of a supporting mastermind. He offers a lot to this team, so I think EG would be a bit concerned if we got to a game 5 and. We'll see what they've got planned here in the fourth game.
It's important to remember that SNA did beat EG in the group stage, was it? They upset EG in a best-of-1 not that long ago. So the potential to take games, and that was, a straight-up best-of-1, nothing too clowny, just superior playing, drafting, that kind of stuff. There's some serious potential there. But PPD...
And on 6.81, so before everyone's confused, like, what do we pick now? So.
Yeah, so I feel like this is almost a leveling here, that sort of a level ground to some degree, where these teams have a serious shot. But EG will do something different once more. It seems like PPD sat down and done some serious theory crafting. Opening with the Troll Warlord. I have yet to see this in the games I've cast in 6.82.
Yeah, he got a few small changes, but very small buffs. I think it was his ranged axes. Yeah, slight buff on the cooldown, but nothing that big or influent for the hero. I think the bigger changes are the indirect changes, like the bottle changes and all that. So is maybe going to be, I imagine he's going to be the mid hero for Arteezy, but we'll see.
Yeah, a very flexible hero. I doubt he'll be the universe offlane hero, especially given that Nature's Prophet has been picked up. But safe lane Troll Warlord could be okay. They will move into a Jakiro now. So another one of these heroes that wasn't really changed all that much by himself. It was more just a change to the push meta. Dual Breath now scales instead of being 30% at level 1, but now it's 28% at level 1, and it actually got buffed to be 40% all the way to level 4. So if anything, Jakiro got buffed in the last patch. Still a good old twin-headed dragon.
Yeah, and push strats, as much as they aren't as effective, you said last game, they're just a little bit riskier because you're getting less gold for the towers. So you've really got to make sure you get all the towers and then break the high ground in a timely fashion, because otherwise you're not getting that huge gold boost. It used to be you could go for a push strat, take down all 6 towers, and even if you couldn't push high ground and end the game, it didn't matter because you got so much gold from all those towers that you could kind of just use that to just out-itemize your opponents. But nowadays, you're not getting as much money and items out of the tower pushing. So you've really got to make sure you end the game as fast as possible. But with the Troll Rage, attack speed, giving them incredible pushing power, or the Battle Trance, Prophet, Jakiro, a lot of split push, and also just sort of 5-man death ball pushing if they want to go that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that was kind of Newbie's recipe to success at TI4, was doing the kind of heavy pushing, quote-unquote, all-in, but then finding ways to use that gold to transition into a more steady mid to late game, whereas Vici, for example, were much more all-in with their pushing strats. And we'll see if EG can find that balance here. With the Troll Warlord, though, it's pretty ridiculous how quickly you can flash push down towers. And I guess they'll put these new glyph changes and extra armor to the Tier 2 towers completely to the test. SNA will do things a little more straightforward. Centaur, Vengeful Spirit, and Brewmaster, 3 heroes that are kind of tried and true. Centaur did get a minor nerf. Stampede now has a slightly longer cooldown, I believe.
Okay. Yes, I think that sounds right for the Centaur. Yeah, check it. Every game I'm casting for like the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna have like the patch notes open to tab out to constantly. Like, what? Control F, enter the hero name, and figure out what happened.
Is his mana cost up from 80 to 100 at all levels. So pretty minor, but his a hero that does have some mana issues. And Hoof Stomp is 130, so that's a pretty costly one. But Ancient Apparition and Treant picked up here.
Yeah, definitely somewhat of worrying about a push and wanting to have some good damage and also be able to negate the heals. And the Treant is, a PPD light support hero, so we'll see PPD most likely on the support. The support tree. The Jakiro is an interesting one here, I think, still, because you don't really know if this is going to be a support side Jakiro or could be a core Jakiro. In the safe lane farming role, the off lane they've run it for Universe, so Jakiro is a bit of an enigma as far as where he's going to be laning.
Yeah, certainly right about that. And the Ancient Apparition can be very valuable in terms of counter push, but it takes a little while for that to really come online. And with this early pushing lineup from EG, there's a good chance they'll be able to knock down a few towers, or maybe even more than a few, before the Ancient Apparition's Ice Blast really starts to hurt. So something to keep in mind here. Final bans, SNA ban out the Tusk.
I think it's a good ban. EG like doing like this.
Yeah, the
They could do like a
Tusk.
Tusk Jakiro off lane together and put Zion Universe in the off lane. Go for some 2-1-2 setup. I think it's definitely a good ban against EG.
Okay.
5 seconds
And there were some changes to his snowball mechanics. I guess we won't go into in too much depth here, given that he won't be in this game. But he did kind of get worked around a little bit. And I don't know, was he buffed or nerfed, I guess, is kind of the real question.
It's tweaked. His Ice Shards got changed a bit as well, with it not hitting a hero. Like, you select where it lands, which is, I think, a slight buff. It does change how the Ice Shard spell works. It's a bit harder to use. It's more of a skill shot now.
But it does take more the big one is now allies can click to get into the snowball.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it takes a little more coordination to get those crazy snowballs rolling through. Not just all on the Tusk, but EG, they move into the Weaver, and not a huge amount of lockdown, but enough that they'll be able to kill the Scarab a bit. You've got Centaur who can initiate Magic Missile follow-up, and Panda will have that Boulder Toss from that Earth Panda or the Earth Spirit coming out. So
Weaver got some really big buffs too. I think the most noticeable one for me is the level 1 Swarm. The duration went up from 8 seconds to 14. Because often when you're in a 1v1 scenario or in the lane stage and you want to, it wasn't much of a value point in Swarm, because you go for a kill, the 8 seconds, it would often expire. Like, at least from my personal experience playing Weaver or something, I'd go for the level 1 Swarm, go for a kill, and I'd lose vision because the Swarm Beetle would expire. But 14 seconds is a big increase in that duration. So I think it's a pretty decent buff to Weaver. You also have stuff like Maelstrom being now purchasable because it can proc on both Gemini attacks. So Weaver has received a few small little buffs. You can now hit Invis units with Shikuchi. His Shikuchi ammo's got a small nerf at the early levels, but you hit level 7 so fast that I don't think the Shikuchi nerf is really that big a deal.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, you don't get Shikuchi at level 1 because it does a whopping 90 damage. You get it for the elusive properties and how irritating you can be. It still does 75, so still enough that you can get last hits with it and do a little bit of chip damage. And it does scale, so it does the same 150 at the max level that it did before. Now, the final pick from the Sneaky Nyx Assassins does deserve a little bit of talk here, is the Faceless Void. He has not been getting a lot of love in this patch so far because he was nerfed pretty decently. The kind of general change of abilities not disabling passives straight up, except now Doom's ultimate with an Ag Scepter. That means things like evasion are no longer disabled in Chronosphere. The flying vision was reduced significantly, and the radius, minor nerf, 450 to 425. The bigger thing perhaps is that it no longer is counted as an aura. So as soon as the Chronosphere is done, there's no longer that lingering effect for half a second. So all that across the board, I don't know. I haven't seen much Void in the games I've covered.
I think he's still quite strong. Definitely certain aspects got nerfed about him. He's not quite as potent in team fights.
30 seconds to battle.
Doesn't have quite the same killing potential, but I think he's still a very good hero, especially if you're drafting some heroes that synergize well with him. In this case, the Ancient Apparition. So I think we should definitely look towards Void still being a big threat, especially give him the safe lane farm so he can get his items up and do a lot of damage. So I think Void was a very good pick here, something EG maybe overlooked because of the nerfed hero.
Well, all right. EG, again, just one game away from securing their seat in Kiev coming up for this Season 10 LAN Finals. We'll introduce some rosters here. Evil Geniuses on the Dire side. Universe will take the off lane on the Nature's Prophet. Arteezy will go mid on the Troll Warlord. They will have a safe lane try. PPD on his signature tree. Zai on the Twin-Headed Dragon. That will put Fear on the Position 1 Weaver, farming in the safe lane. Now on the Dire, it will be Mike, or pardon me, now on the Radiant, Mike will be headed to the off lane on the Centaur. That'll put TC mid on the Brewmaster, and here they'll switch it up a bit with Whitebeard on the Venge, Fluff on the Ancient Apparition, but it's Ush playing on the Position 1 Faceless Void.
Okay, so interesting Fairly standard lanes. Both teams going with the safe lane tri lane, although we are seeing a lot more dual lanes lately. And so far, it's going to be tough for Mike in the top lane. Often you look at the Radiant off lane being a lot easier, but such a good block from EG on the creeps. They're going to pull this lane back fairly early, it looks like. And that's going to be problematic for Mike. He's not going to get much farmer XP out of this lane. Universe, meanwhile, bottom lane, is already getting some okay farming XP.
Yeah, and with that, Ush will hop forward, kind of give him a little tap on the shoulder and say, hey, man, we're trying to zone you out. You're making our lives difficult. They will have the creep pull available, and Whitebeard will extend it to a double pull, so they'll get a little bit of lane control back. But Universe will scud around with the Treants and do as much as he can. Mid lane, Brewmaster versus Troll. The battle of the blinds, I guess you could say. TC has not leveled up Drunken Haze yet, but Arteezy kind of getting the better of the exchange in the mid lane, 6-3 compared to the 3-1 Brewmaster.
I think early levels Troll does a little bit better. He's got slightly better last hitting. Arteezy, ooh, no, thought about going for a solo kill, but it's bottom lane. They get the kill on the Prophet there, so.
Yeah, caught that one. Basically just chilling touch. That's sums up that first blood.
Chilling touch happened, okay.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, Vengeful Spirit sets it up, and that's all you need to commence the right clicks. Frost Fingers hit him with the snowballs.
Okay. TC finds the bounty rune at top, bottom rune taken by Sneaky Nyx Assassins as well, so good rune control coming out from the Radiant side so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottle-wise, not a lot of natural bottle carriers here. I think Troll Warlord will have one. Yep, has it coming out on the Courier. Universe on the Nature's Prophet. This is where we've seen extra bottles picked up quite a bit, and Nature's Prophet just not really one that likes to go for the bottle.
Oh, I guess, you got Teleport to help secure runes, so you theoretically could, but
yeah, that's true.
Imagine he'll pass up on it.
Yeah, instead he'll just move into the jungle, and after that unfortunate defeat, we'll just go back to finding some recovery farm here. We'll TP bottom as creeps start to move into the tower. Nice efficient rotation from him, and we'll find his level 3. Mike in the offlane has found his level 2 on this Centaur, holding on to the skill point. Does have Hoof Stomp, no double edge quite yet, but in terms of last hits, he's not getting much. He's still 0-0, and that farm is just non-existent.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be happy to have hit level 2 by now. Prophet about a level ahead of him has also returned bottom lane, so Prophet can jungle a little bit, and then he sees the creep wave pushing towards his tower. He can TP down there to help defend the tower and also just get the safer XP underneath his tier 1.
Yeah. And he's got his boots up too, so making his life easier. Centaur, he's still bootless, nothing to cover up those cloven hooves that he's got. Just sitting on his stout shield and still plenty of regeneration. And Mike's not even really using his regen, because he knows if he goes up, exactly what's going to happen. He'll take a Leech Seed to the face, there'll be at least one Liquid Fire coming his way, and he won't be able to get much out of it. Fear will scout forward and hit him with the Shikuchi, give him a Geminate, and that'll be enough for Mike to sound the retreat and head back to his tower.
Yeah.
Mid lane. Go ahead.
No. I think right now they're just like trying to zone him out as much as possible, and then they're going to go for the push once Shakira maybe hits level 3. Maybe they wait for the next siege creep or something and try to get a double creep. Well, I'd say they've got a siege creep now, so I think they're going to go for the push with the level 3 Jakiro having the 2 points in Liquid Fire.
Yeah, he was holding on to that third skill point for a moment there, but yeah, it does take it in the Liquid Fire. I was going to say mid lane, Arteezy racking up the farm, but now rotation from Whitebeard as rune control continues to go the Radiant's way. Universe rotates in, but can't keep the troll alive, and that will make it 2-0 as rune control proving a very fruitful advantage for the Sneaky Nyx Assassins.
Yeah, Universe wants to be TPing top as well to help out with this push, and I think Arteezy will TP back mid, and then Universe should be, he's headed top. He's actually trying to flank Mike here, although I think they're more interested in the tower than the actual kill.
Yeah, Universe doesn't have a Sprout, so not much he can do to lock the Centaur in place. Fluff and stuff has come up, and we'll start throwing out Ice Vortexes. Has a chilling touch if they find some sort of an opening. Tower taking a lot of damage. SNA should glyph it, no reason not to. They certainly will. Dual Breath from Zai flies through. TP from Whitebeard. Another Liquid Fire comes in, and they will commit for the tower, but it's denied by Mike. Nicely done. Now EG, they'll get on the aggressive, looking for an opening to secure a kill perhaps, but can't find it, and we'll just have to settle with that tower getting denied right in front of their faces.
It's so little gold now. The tower gold already got decreased and then gets denied, so I think it's 80 gold per hero or something, because it's 160 gold undenied, and I'm not sure the exact number, but it's a lot less than it used to be. So you're committing so many resources to bring down that fast tier 1 tower, and you don't get the money, much money at all for it. It's not really that important of a strategic tower as well to get. Like, you're not getting that much map control early. It doesn't help you secure Roshan or anything necessarily. So
yeah,
it's
so
a pretty big play by Nyx Assassins.
it is 80 gold per hero. You get 160 for the tower, and denies for towers is 50%. So yeah, not a hell of a lot of gold going around. Still enough to put EG in the lead in terms of gold farm, but yeah, not the best situation. They will have the top 2 CSers, though. Ush just nipping at the heels of the Weaver. And Troll still beating the Panda pretty effectively in the mid lane. Arteezy will come down to fill up his bottle, finds the bounty rune, but still up by a decent margin, especially considering that they did just have a successful gank on him.
Yeah, I think for EG it's more just about get that first tower, and then it means they can just move on to the next one soon enough. Sure, the glyph is going to reset, but their push only gets scarier when Jakiro hits level 5, then level 7. Each point in the Liquid Fire makes such a big difference, and similar story for the Prophet, who's only level 4, so getting more treants coming out, getting the Wrath of Nature as well, very needed damage for EG should the Nyx Assassins try and defend towers. You want to have that big damaging nuke with the Wrath of Nature.
Yeah, now it looks like Fear may be pulling up for a Midas. He has his Aquila, no boots, and 1,800 gold. And as we've seen Fear playing Weaver over the past week or so, I know he's played it at least once in games that I've cast. He has gone Midas. He went for the no boots build the other day, I think the game that we were covering. So
yeah.
It stands to reason that's what he'll be looking for here, or else he probably would have spent some of that money already.
Yeah, I think he'll be picking it up. Courier just on its way back to base now, so it's currently in use, but it should be, like you say, buying that Midas and bringing it out.
Yeah, now Void, is he looking at a Midas? No, Ush has actually completed the Power Tread, so going for a bit more of a fighting Void build. We'll go 0 points in the backtrack, so potential to be very aggressive here, and we'll be most likely looking just for that fast Mask of Madness.
Yeah. I like this build. I think it's just good killing potential, and you get a lot more early game fighting potential. If EG wanted to push down towers and break you as fast as possible, going for a greedy Midas may not pay off.
Hood of Defiance, first item on the Weaver.
Well,
thoughts?
It's not the most cost-effective item because you've got such bad raw HP. So even if you're taking mostly magic damage, getting bonus HP, be a vitality booster or strength treads, actually is more cost-effective than the Hood. But the thoughts I'm guessing is he wants to upgrade it to a pipe for that push. So the pipe is obviously going to be a pretty big item to get, but the Hood on its own is not a cost-effective item at all.
Yeah.
I guess you've got 650 HP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense for pushing, but even the Hood before boots, this is not something you see on Weaver ever.
Everyone likes this no boots. I think the treads are pretty cost effective because you can do tread swapping and you get the benefit from the extra HP, the attack speed. Sure, maybe you don't need the movement speed, but the movement speed doesn't hurt you by any means. There are cases where it helps.
Yeah, agreed. And that's the nice thing about treads. It's not really about the movement speed, it's about the stats and, like you said, the swapping utility. So, I don't know. Sort of a preference thing, as Fear does tend to go bootless. And, well, I don't know. I guess we shouldn't expect him to buy boots here. Zai will find his level 5, so that's the Liquid Fire at level 3. And Universe just having a fun time in the jungle. Will soon be level 7, has just his power treads. And we'll see where he goes from here, if he ends up looking for a Midas or just moving into that Maelstrom kind of blink build. Medallion coming out on Zai.
Yeah. That's Roshan. It says Roshan all over it, so EG can take Roshan so easily, most likely uncontested, unless Nyx Assassins guess right.
Mid lane, stun out onto Artor, and there's the split. They should have a boulder toss inbound. They've already used it. They don't stagger the stuns quite as well as they could have. Arteezy trying to make it out, and he may well survive. In comes the Ice Path from the Jakiro, moving into the fog. Now the Panda will go back into brew form, but Ush is here, connects with the ultimate, goes in hard onto Universe. Will be able to bring him down. Fear in the front lines, doing as much damage as he can. So far, it's just a kill on the Prophet, but Ush going to get left behind, doesn't have the time walk up for another few seconds. Will the burn be enough? It doesn't matter. The Troll's there with the final auto attack. Whitebeard trying to make it to the high ground. Arteezy will chase him down, takes a living armor, but will not be able to find the kill. Meanwhile, Fear falls to the wrath of the Ice Blast, and now Zai back in tower range. TC will just chop him down, giving him the flail, hits him with the Drunken Haze, but Zai microing in the trees very effectively. and we'll get a living armor. Now TC will get turned around on as Arteezy comes in. Double damage rune deployed. The ranged axes will be enough to bring him down, and EG at least get 2 kills out of it, but not quite ideal. They will try to move into the Roche pit here, and let's see if the double damage and medallion are enough to secure this.
Yeah, I think with the liquid fire as well, this should be a very achievable Roche. And great Ice Blast coming in from bottom lane from Fluff and stuff. He sniped the Weaver there mid lane. Weaver tipping out of the top lane to try and help out there, and, well, getting sniped by a great Ice Blast. So, EG, not going to be thrilled about that fight, but they did make up for it. Arteezy not dying in the end to the initial Brewmaster ultimate was the big thing there, where EG could have really lost that fight badly if he died.
Yeah, and I think without the Roche, that's a pretty bad fight for EG, but the fact that they were able to get a double damage rune, just sort of a bit of luck there, and secure an easy Roche is great news. Weaver now going into a Gloves of Haste, so I wonder if this will be Power Treads, a delayed Midas, or possibly a Maelstrom.
I'm thinking delayed Midas just because of, I mean, more just because that's Fear's normally preferred choice here, so probably a delayed Midas, but...
Okay. Yeah, time will tell. About 1,000 gold in the bank. If he wants the Midas, he's pretty darn close to picking it up, still at a decent timing. There's your Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, and that'll open up some more potential for TC, who's also found his level 10. Boy, him and Arteezy are pretty high level.
Yeah, having a level 2 Brewmaster ultimate as soon as possible could be a bit of a difference maker in these fights. He was missing that extra damage to actually kill Archer in the last fight, so... Yeah, TC going to be pretty happy with where he stands. Finds a bounty rune, so gets himself even closer to that level 11, and yeah, should be there in the next minute or two.
Yep. Ush and Arteezy going to go blow for blow in the bottom. Well, actually, it's more Arteezy going blow and Ush going escape. Let me get the hell out of here, and he'll scoot back to safety. Fear still #1 on net worth, so his early farm has paid off on that front. Ice Blast from the bottom lane will fly through, and it will hit Fear once more. But... no follow-up damage, so he will survive, at least for now. Bottom lane, Arteezy still just farming away, making Ush's life difficult and slowing down that Mask of Madness timing, though. Here it is coming out on this cute little Snow Owl. And that'll be his Mask of Madness and Tranquil Boots, as well as a Staff of Wizardry.
Arteezy better watch out. He's been bullying Ush, but now with Mask of Madness and AA here, this could get turned around.
Yeah, Ice Path will miss on TC. The Primal Split flies through. Arteezy now on the run. Whitebeard coming in, Stampede's been used. There's your magic missile. He'll go down. Ush whiffs the chrono. Oh man, might still be able to get the kill onto Zai. Universe coming in, Ice Path connects. PPD's there with an overgrowth. Can they turn this around? Ice Blast flies through, will connect on Zai. The troll falls off to the side, so does the Faceless Void. PPD gets nether swapped by Whitebeard, but has a Nature's Guise, and it just won't be enough. EG not getting close to what they came for, and it ends as a 1-for-3 trade.
Yeah, Arteezy so aggressive underneath the tower. I guess because he had the Aegis, he felt he could just bully Ush out of the lane, but he doesn't have any escape spells, so they can kill him once in the tier 1 tower, and as soon as he respawns, it's an easy second kill, and
yeah,
well, not good news for him. And interestingly, Fear is going for a different item. It is going to be a Maelstrom pickup for the Weaver, so making use of the new changes to the Weaver where you can get the extra procs on your Gemini attack.
Yeah, I'm still just not quite understanding the Hooded Defiance rush. I mean, I think the thought process of the pipe is smart, but he's not going to go for the fast pipe here. And it just seems like an odd item. I mean, there is a fair bit of magic damage, but I think where he'll get caught in the most trouble is inside the Chronosphere, and that's not going to save you against the Void.
It does give you some HP regen, which is nice when you want to stay out in the lanes. But yeah, you could get that without the full hood. It'll definitely be a good item the longer this game goes. It's just like temporarily you could get more effective HP from treads or from some other item. But the longer this game goes, the item will become quite valuable.
Bottom tier 1 tower goes down. Shakira will secure the last hit on that one, so some more gold going the way of EG. And helping them out a little bit here. They're still farming pretty effectively, even though they've taken these kind of unfortunate engagements. Fear is farming very, very well. And we'll head back up towards the top lane where Ush is farming away also. He's soon to be level 11. PPD has found his Arcane Boots and also his level 8. So he's in pretty good shape. Universe just moving into an Orchid, it looks like. First Oblivion Staff up, and that second one is complete once he gets time in the well. And ooh, top lane, pardon me. I'll miss that one, but Chronosphere makes it an easy kill on the Weaver. So basically exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah, if he gets caught by it, he's dead. That's solo kill. Like you've got Mask of Madness attack speed with the max out time lock, and we've just got no way to answer that. And then if you want to, you throw on top the Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition. So
Yeah.
a lot of killing power, and that's where this Weaver has to be so careful this game. He can't go anywhere near the Void. He can't go near creeps unless he sees Void somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, I think that's about accurate. And now Void will be pretty close to his Maelstrom. Mithril Hammer's picked up. I guess it could be a BKB coming out on him, but I think as a position 1, he just wants to go into some raw damage here.
Yeah, you're right there.
So, well, things still looking okay for EG. Again, glancing at the graph, they have the gold lead, and experience just barely in favor of SNA, not by a huge amount. Down bottom, TC and Fear will kind of go blow for blow. The Scarab being an irritant as he gets a little Chain Lightning proc there. The Maelstrom's up. And Fear farming top lane. PPD invisible, scouting it out, acting as a bit of a mobile ward. We'll see IX Mike hanging out and puts down a Sentry Ward. Blink Dagger has been picked up on the Centaur. There is an overgrowth here if they want to try to converge, but Mike will just back out as Universe starts to scurry his way over.
Yeah, so I'd say game 4 going okay for Sneaky Nyx Assassins. They are getting slightly outfarmed by EG and are behind about 1,500 to 2,000 net worth, but a lot of these EG heroes, like I mean, we talk about Fear, like he's well countered by a Faceless Void Chronosphere. There's answers to these EG heroes in their current farm, but Universe with an Orchid completed, he's going to be the one looking for shutting down the Void, getting kills on the Brewmaster. This is a great item to get at such an early time in this game.
Yeah, probably just a Maelstrom Blink to follow this up. The pace of this game is almost it's almost a shame that no Hands of Midas have come out, because it's been pretty slow going, somewhat passive at least relative to the other games in this series. So, well, would have started to pay for themselves, maybe on the Weaver, definitely on the Prophet. But Arteezy now looking probably towards a BKB, has his Mithril Hammer, and Zai on his way to a Yule's Scepter.
Yeah, this EG, I think that's the other area where EG are doing well. Their support's getting good farm. Jakiro with Yule's is really annoying and strong. Like guaranteeing Ice Paths into Macropire combos with the Yule's can deal a ton of damage to, I mean, insta-kill some of these supports. Even a hero like Centaur is going to be really squishy to it. So it's something to worry about for SNA, is that not just the core heroes for EG getting farmed, but heroes like the Jakiro on the support role.
Maelstrom on the way for the Void, has the recipe now, and just a little bit off. Picking up the gloves. Morbid Mask now on the Brewmaster, so he'll be looking towards a Vladimir's, no doubt about that one. Ping out the Mike. EG thinking about being a little bit aggressive here, but no, won't be able to do it. There is a decent tower advantage for EG. It is 3-0, so that little bit of gold farm is kind of helping them propel into the mid-game. Stampede used. They want to go down into Fear, but Mike will whiff the hoof stomp. Ush is on the other side of the tree line. Will be able to time walk back to safety. Has a Chronosphere available. Mike just trying to TP home, and he will be successful as the Sprout comes out. Ush now looking to be aggressive, but he takes the Orchid. PPD's there,
lane, meanwhile.
But sorry, top lane. Oh yeah, Zai.
Zai top, yeah.
Yeah. Brewmaster will isolate him. Thought Ush was going to throw out the Chronosphere, but well, is very patient with it.
He wanted Fear, and Fear used time-lapse at full HP just to escape a potential Chronosphere, which he had to do. So it was a good time-lapse, and Ush held him to the Chronosphere, didn't get the whiff.
So now TP's coming out all over the place. They're going onto Whitebeard. Everyone trying to TP home, but Universe is there.
Bash.
And the Bash will, interrupt it. Oh, Vengeful Spirit won't
10% Bash chance. That's some RNG going Arteezy's way.
Yep. So, okay. Basically a support for support trade. No consolation objectives after that. No towers, nothing like that. PPD is using that living armor to much avail. It's not something we really talked about, but in a lineup that doesn't have a lot of natural pushing power like that of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, Tree works out really well here. Weaver gets caught in the chrono, but Jakiro's there. Ice Path to follow up. Now Ush in some trouble. More than trouble. It'll secure his death as the Orchid flies through and he cannot make an escape. Nice teamwork. That was so good
from EG. They knew he was lingering around because they have that lane ward in the top lane, so they knew he was, I think, somewhere either hiding in the trees. They used Fear as bait with the Ice Path ready to go, not to mention the living armor to help keep Fear alive as well. So really, really heads up play from EG.
Yeah, and now they'll try and use this momentum to perhaps take out a tower, moving towards the tier 2 in the top lane. Sneaky Nyx Assassins already rotating to mount a defense, and Mike does have a Stampede available. At least one Liquid Fire will start burning away at the tower. BKB completed on the Troll, and now a Blink Dagger up on the Nature's Prophet. Initiation onto Zai. As the Centaur goes forward, Ice Blast will fly through from the other side of the map, will be off the mark. Zai will stand his ground against TC, and he will TP home. Mike, meanwhile, taking a lot of damage against Fear. One more auto attack will bring him down. Fear secures it, and will hop to the other side of the tree line. On the other side of the map, they were able to pick off the Ancient Apparition. Now Fear will get dusted, and he will fall. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane taking heavy damage in the meanwhile, as EG trading a 1-for-2 across the map. PPD scouts out TC and hits him with a Leech Seed. Glyph gets forced out, but PPD's there with a big overgrowth, and that will secure the escape for Arteezy and Universe.
Yeah, EG, kill trades aside, it's just they're the ones that are playing so much pressure to these towers. They don't get either the mid or the top tier 2 tower, but come very close, getting the tier 2 mid down to 200, the one top down to 580. So they're just kind of forcing SNA to move around the map and keeping them on the back foot, and this opens up stuff like Roshan, which is exactly where EG are headed. This will be a straightforward, uncontested Aegis take. SNA are near the mid lane, but they're not going to get here in time, and even with Brewmaster open up, they can't contest this.
Yeah, the Medallion just makes this so easy, and as you mentioned, that Liquid Fire really limits the amount of damage Roche can do. Aegis the Immortal will go to the Troll Warlord once more. As we mentioned, his BKB has been picked up and still in that 10-second charge. Mid lane, Ush hops forward right onto Fear, but Ice Path Macro Pyre is there. Fear will have a time lapse, goes right back to full health, but Centaur chops him down. Fear will fall once more. Is there any follow-up damage from EG? Split's been used, but the Panda Spirits will be on the run, and it looks like it will end as just a kill onto Fear. But here we go, reinitiation. Centaur uses the Stampede. They go in onto Zai, make it a 2-for-0. And the Troll caught inside of the Tornado. Mike will pay with his life. Arteezy comes back down to earth, will use his BKB, and now he's going hard. Pops the ultimate. Looks like he'll be able to get Fluff as he gets stuck inside of the Sprout. It's a 2-for-2, and EG are not quite done yet. And they might have to let the heroes get away, but no glyph available. This should be at least a tier 2 tower to follow it up.
Yeah, Aegis still in hand for Arteezy as well, so PPD scouts up behind the tower. He can almost look for a potential engagement out of this one, but gets the Orchid off, but no damage. So blinks away, but T2 tower secured for the Evil Geniuses.
Middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, so EG take a decent fight. It was a good effort from Fear, but unfortunately the Centaur was just in the right place at the right time, knowing that his time-lapse wouldn't move him an inch, and Mike just dropped the hammer once more. And now I feel like Fear is really just hurting from his lack of overall stats. He did go back for power treads, but with Hood and Maelstrom, it just gives you nothing. He's got a 850 HP pool when he's not on strength treads.
And it's one of he went back for it. You get more value going for it before the Hood or the Maelstrom. So it is like a kind of afterthought. It's like, oh crap, this build isn't working. I've got to go back for these treads. I think he'd rather have been in a situation where he just got treads from the get-go, because they are more cost-effective than the Hood or the Maelstrom. But either way, I think it's good to recognize, hey, look, I'm in a position where I need HP. I keep dying in the Chronosphere or for this Blink Hoofstomp. Pick up the treads, now pick up either a pipe or just a vitality booster or something. He's actually going for a Yasha, so maybe considering something like a Manta Style or a Sanjin Yasha as an option. Sanjin Yasha Weaver, definitely not a conventional item, but it's still HP, which is really Fear's biggest weakness right now.
Yeah, here in the mid lane, PPD gets swapped. There is a Sentry Ward down. Will make it outside of the Sentry, but Ice Blast flies through, and I think he will shatter despite the living armor flying through. Yep, certainly will. And SNA will find a kill, but following that last team fight, EG got 2 towers out of it, finishing off the tier 2 mid and the tier 2 bottom. So even that is a consolation, still good for the Evil Geniuses. About 6,000 gold in their favor and 3k experience. They will back out and just continue farming. Universe almost jumped on. Ush does take a Stampede, but will get Orchided. Universe trying to TP home. He gets bashed, and that one won't happen, but close call.
Yeah. Universe at this point, I think, is one of the big EG threats. At this point, Fear on the Weaver is just going to be looking to tank up, do what he can. He's not really the carry in any sense. It's much more the Universe Prophet and the Troll. Speaking of Troll, he's found Whitebeard. That's
Whitebeard found him. It was the other way around. That was a swap from Whitebeard to start it off, and Arteezy just says, you know what? I'm going to go BKB
along the way, man.
Go man mode.
He's on the run. He's like, oh, I can get this tower maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
He still has the Aegis. Did pick up the gem from Whitebeard. He went down, and now he's got no escape. The tower almost gets taken out by Cardi. They secure the deny, and they will also secure their gem as RTZ gets locked down. Also, a streak ended. Fluff the one to grab that last hit and say hello to your Aghanim Scepter. That's a pretty big deal for this ancient apparition.
Yeah, that's some good damage to help out with these kills. So AA getting some big items up, but also like all around the board. Like we've seen Weaver get his Yasha, which isn't that big, but Troll picks up like a full Desolator before he dies. So RTZ actually manages to spend his money there. Prophet still working on some kind of an item with the ultimate orb, most likely a Hex. And for Nyx Assassins, they need this. Okay, they've got the BKB on Arch. That's what the big item that I was kind of waiting for them. So they don't have to worry about Hush getting silenced up by the Orchid and brought down. This is actually going to be a nice little timing where they can take almost any fight they want using this BKB, especially now that there's no Aegis on RTZ.
The seeds of fortune.
PPD will utilize this new ward location that became available in this patch. Huge vision here in this big arc. Just worth pointing out once more. Great ward spot, and we'll see if Sneaky Nyx Assassins try and counter it. Fear down bottom. Will get jumped on by Mike. Connects on the hoof stomp. Ush is there. Will connect with the ulti and say goodnight to the Scarab.
This is a great game for like an example of the new patch changes. It's 6 towers to 0, and it's a 5k gold lead. That is nothing as far as normally you see a 6 tower to 0 tower difference, and you're looking at least 10k. The CS is even favored towards EG. Like they've got most of the heroes with the top CS, but tower gold just not what it used to be. Especially with all these towers being denied. The T1 top was denied, the T2 top. I'm not sure about the other 4. I can't really remember.
I think those were the only 2 denied. The others were the other tier 2s were definitely killed. Yeah, okay. I think those are the only 2 denied. Universe will get initiated on here. He's in kind of an odd spot. Will try and TP out, but that's not happening. They get vision. The swap is there to interrupt him, and now Universe falls. Oh boy, it's looking a little bit rough for EG here.
Yeah, the graph is starting to climb its way back up, and can only imagine what's going to happen when Nyx Assassins start getting some towers. Although, I mean, I was just saying how they give less gold, but it is still something.
Yeah, initiation from Mike goes right into the ice path. That'll stun him up, stop him dead in his tracks. The primal split flies through as Arteezy goes into the front lines. Fear getting chopped down. He'll fall once more as Void connects with a bash. Meanwhile, on the other side, Whitebeard does get finished off by Universe. There's your Chronosphere. It's enough to bring down to the Jakiro. Not enough to bring down Arteezy straight up, but they will use Universe. It's just the Troll Warlord left, and Evil Geniuses on the back foot. Sneaky Nyx Assassins clean it up. A 1-for-5 trade, and they will secure at least a tier 1 tower out of this. Buyback from Universe was utilized for that as well, so it's a dieback on him. What a bloody disaster.
Holy crap, man. This is looking like we could be going to a Game 5. Decided to see who goes to Kiev. Sneaky Nyx Assassins have still got a lot of fight left in them, and we'll see him get their first two towers of the game in mid lane, and that's going to be them taking the gold lead. So, big plays coming out of SNA right now.
I still just don't understand this Fear build. Not only the order of going the Hood first, but now just the casual Yasha. It does nothing for him. His HP pool is the big problem here. It gives you movement speed, not really so great on Weaver. The attack speed and agility is okay, but damage isn't his issue right now. I really don't understand the thought process behind this item build. Even if it's going to be a Sanj and Yasha, hell, just get the Sanj first.
Yeah, Fear's item build just makes no sense to me. The casual Hood, I don't know. The Maelstrom, I guess, I mean, it makes sense with the new changes to the Gemini, and yeah. I can see why he went for that, but then he just goes back for a casual Yasha. Like, what's this Yasha doing for him? What's the Hood? The Hood is not, I mean, he's low HP, so he gets some HP regen. He's blocking some magic damage, but he's dying to Chronosphere, stuns, hoof stomps.
Yeah,
this Hood ain't saving his life.
Yeah, if that Hood was like the beginnings of a BKB, that would go so much different here. Not that it's ideal against the Chronosphere, but the two things really chopping him down are Void with Chrono, and in that last fight, it wasn't even the Chrono, it was just a bash, and now Void has enough attack speed to just chop him down in the duration of a single bash. Or the Centaur Hoof Stomp, double edge, and that gets him low enough that somebody can just finish him off with anything. It's spit in his direction, and with that little HP pool, the Centaur can take him down to a third, a quarter HP with no problem. So I just don't know. I don't like to point fingers because yeah, Lord knows somebody's gonna get poked, but jeez. Arteezy gets a Desolator, though. That's something.
It's a nice little pickup. He's still going to have problems with the drunken haze, drunken brawler of the Brewmaster, but could go for an MKB next. Although it's a bit kind of too glass cannony if you go MKB and the Desolator, but maybe something he can opt for, especially if he gets the next Aegis. And EG are still on that dire side, are still in the closer proximity to Roshan, and Roshan is respawning pretty soon, so it's a relatively fast Roshan respawn.
But Zai down bottom. He may get caught out. Universe is here to try and help him out. Primal Split's used. Zai just falls before he can get off a single spell. Universe will try and TP home. The swap is there, and it'll be a 2-for-0 in the bottom lane. And it's just turning into a feed fest for EG. They had such a lead, and now 24-11. The Radiant side scout out Roshan with 2 heroes dead. They know Universe has no buyback. Zai doesn't have enough money, and the ticket to get EG back in this game is about to be stolen by the Sneaky Nyx Assassins.
Yeah, it feels that way. Fear's trying to do his best to kind of keep the split push up top, but that's not really applying any real pressure to the tier 3s or the Raxes. And now that Bush has the Aegis in hand, this is really big for SNA. This is their game to lose, and they've got themselves in a very controlling position of Game 4, and this looks like we may be going to a Game 5 decider.
Yeah, EG, they came from the winners bracket, so they had a 1-game advantage. They took the first game pretty handily, and they had that funky draft in the last match, and here things are just kind of falling apart. I don't know that this is a drafting issue completely as much as item choices, and then also just not getting enough out of the tower gold that they were awarded. That first deny was a huge victory for SNA and really helped slow down that EG snowball. Now the Centaur close to a Shiva's. They'll find the ward up on the high ground there as Whitebeard has a gem. Once more, even finds a Yasha on this Vengeful Spirit, so starting to transition into more of a core Venge as this game goes on and farm allows. Weaver, what's he working on? It will be a Manta, so no Sanj and Yasha, but finally gets an ultimate orb to help tank up a bit.
Yeah. It theoretically can be dodging some of these stuns, like the Magic Missile, and if you see the Void come on you and you get the Manta off, it does create a little bit of confusion where he may attack your illusions, even just for 1 or 2 right clicks, which could negate some of the damage you take. So the Manta's an okay item pickup here. It's definitely going to help him a little bit as far as staying alive. But right now, like, it's not about the Weaver's item. It's about SNA's items. They've got Aegis, they've got Cheese, they've got this really scary 5-man unit with an Assault Crest on the Brewmaster with 5k gold on top of that. So TC, not only with the AC, but he can pick up his next big item fairly soon. So
yeah,
EG need a whole lot more than what they've got. Defensive items won't cut it as well. They need actual firepower to bring down a BKB Void, to bring down a Brewmaster with 30 armor right now. There's just a lot of heroes they have no answer for.
Yeah, Stampede will be used.
What's the Courier?
Ooh, it's on the high ground.
He's trying to get the Courier mid. No.
Yeah, Centaur's looking for it, but it looks like the little flying camera will survive, or will... Oh! Mike
He's
almost
grabbed.
Blinks on top, but he'll just give up. He knows he's being scouted out, so he'll just TP home as Fear comes in to scout him out.
I get the tier 2 top though, so SNA get tower after tower. That's going to be in the last few minutes. Get Roshan, get the 2 towers mid, get Roshan, get the 2 towers top, and suddenly what was once like a 5-6k gold deficit is almost a 10k gold lead for the Nyx Assassins.
Yeah, and you talked about that Brewmaster with plenty of disposable income. It will be a Black King bar. He just right-clicks straight up, still with 1,500 gold to spare. Ancient Apparition throws an Ice Blast up towards the top lane. He is only level 14, but will connect onto Fear. Now Ush can hop in, and this should be an easy shatter as the Weaver takes a living armor, just not enough to keep him alive, and he'll be stuck in the grave here for 60 seconds. No buyback available on the Weaver. He just completed his Manta, so this is a pretty big window for SNA to possibly take objectives down bottom, or if they can find another pickoff, look towards the high ground. Zai will blink towards the high ground, connects with an Ice Path onto Ush, but he's all by his lonesome. If Ush wanted to man up on him here, TC's nearby. They don't have vision on the rest of the Dire, so they won't go for it. But very risky plays from the Jakiro.
Yeah, man, it looks like SNA are ready to go high ground, down the mid lane. They have got no Chronosphere for a little bit longer, 40 seconds. But with Aegis in hand and with Weaver on the sidelines, probably feeling pretty confident they can take this fight even without a Chronosphere. They've got so much teamfight potential and so much added damage from the Assault Crest as well.
Yeah, now the tier 3 tower in the mid will be under assault. Living armor comes out right away. There is a glyph available for EG. Another swap to get things started. They'll go right onto Zai. He'll take a lot of damage. Will be the first to go down. Ush standing his ground. Arteezy will win the duel. And it only brings down the Aegis, though. Overgrowth from PPD. It won't be enough to keep the Troll alive. PPD dies. Buyback now from the Troll, as well as the Jakiro. It's a 5v4 on the field. PPD won't be able to buy back here. The Sneaky Nyx Assassins pretty topped off. They have a Chronosphere that just cooled down, so there's still an opening to take the fight, and there it is from Ush. Goes in onto Fear, but Zai on the outside will put him in the Yule. Still separates Arteezy from the rest of his team. They'll bring him down. Weaver falls. Good game, well played, and we're going to an ace match. One more game to decide which team from Starladder America will go to Kiev.
Oh boy, that's exciting. This is a great ending to the Starladder Americas region. What was looked at by almost everyone as just like a one-horse race, with EG being the heavy favorites here. I mean, even PPD himself said, like, one of the things with EG, like, they're playing in the American scene. A lot of these tournaments, like, it's kind of like a given that they're going to qualify. ESL New York, 3 teams qualified. They get in easily. Starladder America, sure, it's only 1 team, but they're heavy favorites. So compared to the European scene, they maybe don't get the best practice, but these tier 2 teams, or at least the second level of teams like Sneaky Nyx Assassins, Navi US, they're nipping at EG's heels, and right now SNA are 1 game away from going to Kiev.
Yes, sir. So we'll have another quick break, guys, and then the final match of the day coming up. The winner moves on to the finals.